All right, first servant we're talking about for 2025, and it is Richard the First, Richard the Lionheart, or Saber, True Saber from Fate Strange Fake. I'll be honest, the account I got this character on was literally the best it could have been. Like, I don't have any more AOE Sabers that aren't Bond 10 on that account, so already, like, off the rip, I needed a character like this. Because I don't want to be bond farming for characters that don't need it. Not only is this character, like, at release on par with contemporaries for buster farming, like his normal buster farming damage, it might be a little lower than some others, but it's not like it's so low it's unbearable, if even that. If you like look at what he's supposed to be double stacking with Vitch, he really shouldn't be having issues of falling behind outside of like him not using Black Row versus characters that are. Like, it is just too hard to make up that much MP damage when Oberon is literally doubling it to make the gap even bigger. Now, yes, Richard has some MP damage in his kit, but it's nowhere near enough to add up with cranking to come anywhere close to where Black Rail is. So, and trust me, I actually did try to figure out if he could do it. I'm still not 100% sure what the requirements are for that though. So do want to figure that out in the future. So let's talk about him. Speaking of alternative farming methods, he is one of the few characters, like off rip, I can think of that can use Alco instead of Vitch and still get the same damage. Now, I need to preface speaking about this because a JP player called me fucking incompetent for thinking about farming with this. This has nothing to do with efficiency. It's just the fact of what you can do. If your Vitch is bond 15 and turn 1 and 2 damage aren't a concern for you, you can use Alco in place of a Vitch. But again, it takes up more party costs and you can't use a bond CE. If you don't care about bond CEs, or you don't need like 5% more bond points, along with because you already maxed out your level or your mystic code, like, why not just have fun and do more farming stuff? That's all I'm saying about the Alco stuff. I tested it. The damage is like identical. You're still getting 2 Vitch Buster buffs and 2 Vitch Star Bombs, along with the power mods. It's literally identical. It's just like a lot more button presses. I'll go into like more why that's possible later, but just know this is a unique case, and the only requirements are that a character has a targetable cooldown reduction that is not tied to their own farming, aka if you target someone else, he's not losing out on any buffs himself. So it's only the cooldown reduction. All right. So this is the Ascension most people care about. This is the one that is not part of Strange Fake, from what I understand. But this is all in the promotion material for Strange Fake, these 2 Ascensions. Base attack 12.4k. This is a really solid number to start off with. For any 5-star, like, this is up there with the Avengers, and even low for an Avenger is still really, really high in this game. If you're above 12k attack and you're a 5-star, you're usually in a good place. HP 13.6k HP. This guy has like no survivability. He has 0 for like anything that's gonna keep him alive. So keep that in mind when you use him. It's all or nothing with him. You need to bring someone like Merlin or Castoria if you want this guy to stay alive, outside of like doing return farming. Extremely offense oriented, and you just, if the fight is lasting longer than 3 turns, A, maybe don't use Buster. B, yeah, you're gonna, downtime is gonna be the bane of this guy. Although it's not even gonna be that bad. Like, if he doesn't have card buffs, he at least has like a good amount of star gen and crit buffs. MP charge 0.56%. 4 hits on the arts card. Unfortunate that he only has 1, because this is higher than what normal 4-hit arts cards are. And from my own usage of this guy, because he is like guaranteed to crit, this pretty much fills up his entire battery. Yeah, like one of his arts crits and his gauge goes 0 to 100 like really quickly. And again, that's also because of how his kit works. Like, again, super solid, but all in on offense. Good and a bad thing on that. 5 hits on the quick cards, fucking awesome. 5-hit extra attack, 4-hit buster card. Like, every single part of his kit says I make stars no matter what I do. Like, yes, he has these arts cards, but trust me, even these gen crit stars too. Yeah, like everything. Hamby Kane, if he wasn't guaranteed to crit as much as he was, I would be more concerned about this. But after using him in storm pods, don't recommend that, by the way. If he's not MP2 or you don't have a pens unlock, I would not advise trying to force him to do any storm pod farming. But yeah, upstairs is solid, and like look at year 1 AOE Sabers and compare his upstairs to theirs. This is like night and day different. Like, already it kind of doesn't matter like what his skills really are. His just like base kit is just steps up from someone like Altera, who the only mark she has right now is that her buster farming with starting from 50 is the best, but that's just pure MP damage. Like, if you look at her upstairs, her hit counts are so much worse. Her MP gain is better, but she's not guaranteed to crit, and her base attack is lower. Like, Altera, her skills got buffed a lot, but they're still not great skills. I'm not trying to shit on Altera, but they really did. Like, year 1 Sabers, they polish pieces of shit, but the shit smell still, like, you can still smell the shit. This does not smell like shit. So, first skill, 20% attack, 20% MP gen, 20% star gen for the party, and then he gives himself an on attack activate buff. Whenever he attacks, he gets 30% star gen. This activates first. Also, just as attacking, not normal attacking, so even his MP is going to gen a shitload of stars. Spoiler, it's 5 hit. It may only be 5 hit, but we're not talking about arts MPs like this. We're not talking about Caster Gilgamesh, where he needs 100% star gen for his MP to gen a crazy amount of stars. No, he has ramp up star gen, so even like if you're concerned about him not making enough stars, face card before you MP, and then you're just gonna make a shitload of stars. Is this gonna be Raiko level? I haven't used Raiko in like her actual farming in a while, so I can't say that off the top of my head. But this is Raiko doesn't have any Sergeant buffs besides on her MP. This is a Saber that has ramp up Sergeant like this in a Buster MP. So even again with my practical use of Richard in Storm Pods, Sergeant almost never was the issue with him. Like, he's not Charlemagne level, but he's not lacking. It's like you can use Vitch's star bombs with him and not have to worry about you not having enough stars to crit. That is like, he literally has the exact, I was about to say he has the opposite problem as Arjuna Alter, but no, he doesn't have the problem Arjuna Alter has. This guy's buster crits are monstrous, and he doesn't have a problem getting enough stars to crit on them. No matter what, however your setup is for him, as long as Richard is actually MPing, there shouldn't be a time where, like, if he gets a buster card, he can't crit on it. That shouldn't be possible, where he literally doesn't even make enough stars for one Buster card to crit. So I know Star Gen is a meme for a lot of people, but after using Juno Alter, like, and forcing myself to see like the worst aspects of his kit, like how he functions outside of like farming, it just like, if Juno Alter had a buff like this, I probably would actually like him a lot more. I'll be completely honest. If our Juno Alter had better Star Gen, I probably would like him more. And because that was my case in Buster tier list, why I thought Ryko was better. It's because Juno crits aren't consistent if you don't have the Star Bombs. All right, yeah. So enough of that. Moving on to skill 2, and this is what allows Alco to act as a substitute for Vitch, not a replacement, a substitute, because she does not improve the damage. The damage is worst turn 1 and 2. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that. But if your Coin Sky is bond 15 and you can use Alco instead, I would want Alco to get bond points and not Coin Sky to just take up space in the party. That's my whole reasoning for that. If people want to call me a dumbass for thinking that, I'm not changing my opinion. I would rather get bond points for something than not get bond points for something. And if you have high copies of MPs or high MP copies of Servants, the damage is usually not the issue. The sheet is MP1. As long as you hit these numbers at MP1 and still clear the wave, MP5 is probably going to do it easier, even if you're missing some buffs at times. So this skill, 20% arts, buster, and quick, all 3 card types, along with 30% MP damage, and you can target an ally with skill cooldown reduction. Targeting Vitch is not going to change anything with Richard, which is why this works. If this part was targetable, it's not possible. Yes, he has some multi-core utility, but not enough to like justify like full on making him multi-core. And I'm honestly happy that they did it like this. So how does this work that you can actually get one Coin Sky on the field to pop her skills twice? Yeah, so I'm gonna do this like really quick because this is a Richard video, not Coin Sky or Alco. Okay, so 6 turn cooldown on her first 2 skills, and if this gets buffed and this gets brought down to 7 or 6, we're actually in business to get Richard to Black Row loop. But I think that battery situation is also a little scuffed. So you have a pen 5 on Coin Skya, so this goes down to a 5 turn cooldown. Alco, when she pops her 3rd skill, reduces the entire party's cooldown by 2. So this is down to 3 turns. By turn 3, this gets brought down to 1 turn. And then Richard is able to reduce the cooldown. So you actually do have enough cooldown to let Coin Skya pop her skills twice. And if you're not fighting man attribute, like double popping, like having 2 Coin Skyas loses its value, because you don't need the man attribute power mod. You just need the buster buff, because the man attribute power mod isn't going to do anything. Like if anything else, you need the stars more than you need the power mods. So yeah, that is something you need to test out, and just something for you to try for yourself. If you don't want to use a bond 15 Coin Skya, see what units can actually use Alco, because it really is just they need 1 turn of cooldown reduction. Richard actually has 2, so you technically don't even need a pen 5. It would just make your life a whole lot easier, and you're less likely to fuck up if you have a pen 5 on your Coin Skya. But yeah, I was literally talking about a servant like this for Alco like a good week before stuff like this came out. I forget why. I think it was because I was just trying to get Alco to bond 11 to get her appends. But yeah, like this is the type of character that can let Alco take up other roles, and it's one of the reasons I wanted to get Alco on both accounts, because she is a versatile unit. Like, you being able to be a substitute for quick and arts looping, and then also being a substitute for Vitch, is the dumbest shit I've ever heard of. And of course it's Alco. Even if it's inefficient as shit, the fact that she can still do it is something to note. And that is gonna show on my tier list. So, but everyone knows extra class just has a shitload of EX, so I don't think it's that big of a deal. Third skill, 30% battery. Star weight for Buster cards, 500%. Buster crit damage up 50%, 20 stars. So again, this gets double stacked. It's 100% Buster crit damage in his own kit before we even talk about the MP. Nasty. Then you have Vitch, and she's putting up another 100%. Again, that's from here. That's 120% Buster and 200% Buster crit damage. But we're not anywhere near done yet with Richard on that end. Debuff resistance 17.5%. Riding A 10% quick up. You are going to want this. Okay, no, you need this right now. But in the future, if something ever happens where he can touch Black Rail, he's definitely going to need this unlocked too. And because they're like confidently saying they are a full out announced, yes, get your servants to bond 10 if you want grand servants to be like fully running. Yeah, pushing a farmer up to bond 11 isn't the craziest thing anymore. Yeah, it's not the biggest ask anymore. Again, that talking about like bond leveling like supports up to 11, we're talking about like that's people that have played the game for like well over 3 years that are talking about doing that stuff. Not if you're just starting. If you're just starting the game, just get this. Don't worry about like don't worry about most kinds of farming until you're at a point where you can worry about that. Stick to the standard stuff. MP 5 hit. Oh, sorry, but yeah, he is a crit servant, so I will say that you might actually want this, especially if you're doing a Buster Brave Chain with this guy. Like, no, your extra attack isn't gonna hit anywhere near as hard as your fucking Buster crits are, but this still cleans it up. And if you do Mighty Chains, again, cleans it up a little better. But yeah, the 1 and 2 or 2 and 5 are the ones that you actually care about. These two don't really matter. Yeah. So MP 5 hit AOE Buster ramps up his own crit damage by 50% for 3 turns. So in his own kit on turn 3, he will have 350% Buster crit damage through his. I was gonna say through his own kit, but no, that's with Vitch amping him up. But yeah, that's a whole lot of Buster crit damage. He also puts a 2000 burn on enemies, so he does not have Invo Pierce, and he's able to put a burn on the enemy. If you want to run him with Honey Lake, not the craziest thing, because Honey Lake will affect his crits more than Black Rail will. And for him in particular, that actually is important. His Buster crit damage is fucking monstrous. After the second MP on the Dragon Storm Pod node, his MP, like, and this is him at level 100, I believe. Oh, sorry, my Discord is going off. He's at level 100. He's using K-Scope, maxed out skills. The K-Scope is only like level 40. His MP in the second turn of Buster Parting, his MP did like 400,000 to that dragon in the second wave. His Buster crit did well over 800,000. He ramps up so much crit damage that his MP is splash damage, very similar to, I want to say, Takeru and Ushigozen. Those two in particular have that same kind of thing where, yes, they have AoE MPs, but they have something in their kit that basically makes them single target at some point. Like their AoE MP is just to enable them doing single target damage. Takeru is putting the defense, the arch res down, like that massive 50% every time for one enemy. For Ushigozen, I think for her it's also the crit. She does stupid crit damage. And then for Richard right here, ramps up crit damage. Fully works in Buster farming, so this is easily 150% on turn 3. So you're big. Oh, didn't even talk about the OC. Omni card buff down, res down. So 10% start goes up to 30. If you hit overcharge 5, this is a mana burst. But remember, in a boss fight, you're just gonna stack these up, so this already ramps up to 30. So that for that last turn, Richard will have 250 Buster crit and 50. Sorry, let me read. Yeah, no, 200% Buster crit damage and 50% Buster from his own kit without relying on Vitch. That is a lot of damage steroids coming from this one character. It very much helps that he has this attack buff. Otherwise, his damage with Vitch would be significantly lower because there are no other attack buffs. This is another character for me. I actually had all the mats off rip. So, yeah, like, I can't complain about what mats to level. This is probably going to be the biggest pain point for a lot of people. But luckily this month we do have these in the daily logins. So if you pick up Richard and you get stuck, just go to Fuyuki and run Zone C 3 times if you don't feel like playing the game. That's it. Do that 3 times, make blue apples, log out, and then you still get 6 of these a day. 7 of these a day. Up until the end of anniversary. Then it goes to 4 a day. But that's still, you do not have to go to Trom and spend all day farming that to just have like bad drop rates. If you don't want to go farm that, just take your time. Or use pure prisms. But for bronze mats like this, I would not advise using pure prisms to try to force level this. Bond CE, 30% Buster crit damage for the party while he's on the field. So, I'm done talking right now, but I do want to show his farming numbers in comparison to like his competition. So, this hasn't been updated in a while, but I'm still using this until I make my own. Altera for starting from 50% is the highest here at 300,000. And for black rail looping, or pretty much black rail looping, it's mortared at 350,000. Ibuki right now is at 250, and I have said multiple times that, oh, sorry, Salter. Let's use Salter as the full benchmark at 384 because she's using actual black rail. Ibuki starting from 50, but she really should be. I want Ibuki to be able to use black rail just like I want Ishtar to use it. Like, if you have a 50 battery, like, black rail should be something you're trying to do. That's just kind of my opinion. If you're at 30, then if you can do black rail, amazing. Like Salter in order, but it is what it is. All right. So yeah, I'm gonna do the calcs real quick and just peek in every time to show. Okay, so in this run, because Vitch actually had her appends the way they were, I was able to pop her second and third skill on the second turn. So first turn we have 50,000 damage And again, this is without Koyanskaya, like a second Koyanskaya. So she's only getting, Richard is only getting 1 Buster buff. And also this is him starting from 50. I've already tried to calc him with Black Rail, and the cooldown situation just does not work right with Vitch. Yeah, so if I want to try to get him to do Black Rail, I'm gonna have to do something or do other testing. But yeah, so first turn, 50,000 damage. Neutral, he has a 1.1, so bring this down to like 45,000. 45,000 turn 1. I would say about, again, rough estimate. Second turn, again, bring this down, so it's like 87,000 turn 2, neutral, even with the double buster. Turn 3, 264,000 damage, neutral, again, bring this down to like 240. So 240,000 damage, neutral, and again, this is approximate because of like rounding and just class advantage. So it puts him around Ibuki, like a little lower than Ibuki. Not great, but not terrible. Like, he's on par with another 5-star. Granted, it's one that I think needs a buff for farming reasons, but they're more likely gonna fix her battery than let her touch Black Royal. My opinion, I think they're gonna fix her attack buff before they give her another battery skill. I could be wrong about that, but let's see in the future. So he's here, but we're not counting his crit damage. I already said his crit damage sometimes does double his MP damage. So as long, in my opinion, as long as his MP damage is on par with like everyone else, even if it's slightly lower, he actually has crits to fall back on, and even his non-buster crits will fucking hurt. Let me remind you, like, his ramp up is not buster crit damage on his MP, it's normal crit damage. Vitch, unless you're using Merlin, and Merlin is only 1 turn too, your other cards do not get a crit buff from Vitch. So yes, these other characters do have general crit buffs, but they're not ramp up like Richard. So yeah, his normal farming it's fine right now. I don't think it's, oh wait, this is level 92. Better for this list anyway. All right, so right here, 264. We're just gonna run this with Vitch real quick just to prove that it's pretty much the same damage. Get rid of that, and all right. Yeah, this is, again, I never said that Vitch, that using Alco was faster. If anyone thinks I said that, you are fucking delusional, because I definitely never said using Alco was faster than using just double Vitch. Like, 100%, if you do not care about button presses, use double Vitch and you'll get this shit done real quick. It's identical. The damage is literally identical. On turn 1, it is a 15,000 difference on turn 1. Like, is that much of an issue? Like, turn 1 damage is with an AOE is that much of a difference? Like, yes, this is a 25% upgrade, but it's still only 15,000 damage difference. You can make up for that shit so easily. Like easy example, just level him up. And let's see if that gives him another brings him up to 60,000. Yeah. And it did even more damage. Oh, sorry. That was Vitch. Sorry. Yeah, no, that was a debate. That's my bad. That did not help prove my point. Yeah, that outcode doesn't really matter. Okay, doesn't fully close the gap, but you see what I'm talking about. If you're lacking damage, damage is usually the worst or the easiest thing to make up for. This does, like, if your turn 2 damage doesn't work out, like, leveling isn't always gonna help. Like, you do have to calc some of this stuff yourself. But yeah, like, turn 1 damage is usually not what most people are concerned about. And if the turn 2 and turn 3 damage are identical, like, there is no difference, like, I would probably start using Alco if I have the party cost for it. If I don't, I don't, and I'll just use Vitch. Simple as that. Yeah, I thought I was gonna do more calcs, but I think that is more than enough. I have not updated the Saber tier list. Right now I'm definitely feeling it, the very least, a very strong A+. I don't want to say EX yet. Yeah, no, I don't want to say EX yet. His crit damage is fucking stupid though. So, like, he has more use outside of farming than he does in farming, despite having no survivability. Like, I think his, like, damage in a CQ is, like, fucking... like, his crit damage is so high, like, he might end up being, like, a super recollection unit people use, just because of how high it actually stacks up, like, without trying. Alright, time to start streaming. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace. Thank you for making it to the end of this video. If you enjoyed, drop a like or sub. Hope to see you in the next one. Peace.